I mean, it's like the idea of what do we think it is? Do you think it's the pastors? How do we mark a church by what they believe? Or is it the pastors of what they actually are trying to come across, or how that lands with people?
Well, I'll give you a quote from old Scott Westering at PLU. What you say, followed by what you do, is what you believe, right? So then it kind of gets into, right? It gets into what we were talking about, right? Like with the actions, right? And then intention. And yeah, I think that it does, like, it first starts with, from the pulpit. It first starts with the pastor, and I think the pastor sets the tone for, what happens in the church, really. So, I think if a pastor is talking more about, saying, really, even questioning like the meaning of God, or like, what do we really think God is, right? Do we think God is the space dwelling personified figure who has feelings and emotions, and based on the Old Testament has good days and bad days? Or is God the force, like the life force throughout all of us, right? Kind of some of those Gnostic teachings that were, kind of more apocryphal, right? So I think that there's a balance of the pastor setting the tone, right? A leader sets the tone, and I think that from church to church you can get that different tone, and then obviously the pastor is going to be influenced by. I think that there's a difference in a church when a pastor is truly influenced by hardcore scholarly theology, and essentially kind of the McDonald's version theology, as far as like what we like, just the Americanized. I feel like there's an Americanized theology, and I feel like there's just kind of more of a substance theology that exists, in my opinion. And I do believe that the
It also
pastor
goes
sets the
from
tone.
religion to religion as well, because I mean, we're talking at a pastoral level, which is very community based. But if you're talking at like a church hierarchical level, with the recent change from Francis over to the new Pope, that represents, a shift in how the church operates and how the church thinks, right? For example, like Francis never stayed in the papal apartments his entire time the Pope. He believed that they were too austere and magnificent, and so he never stayed there. But now the new Pope has moved into the new papal apartments, and so he's set a precedent now where he doesn't really care about the look of how that is, and is kind of returning to church norms, as it were. So like
Yeah.
that's a political movement. A lot of people take it as, which even something as simple as where the guy sleeps.